This is the place to find yourself.
Istanbul offers great universities and the lifestyle is really amazing here.
So I live at the dorms at Maltepe University and I'm really happy with it. There's a cleaning service every few days and then there's the library nearby which is open 24/7.
My first impression when I came was like, it's huge. You have everything in one place.
When you first come to Maltepe University, you don't know where what is and you're like, oh my God, I need help. Guess what? You're not alone. There is the international office people over there. They're like family. They're very helpful and they're always there for you.
Istanbul is the perfect mixture between ancient and modern. Coming into this city helps me discover myself, learn about so many different cultures, learning about the world, which will help me in writing future books.
At Maltepe University, we have a lot of research centers. Because of that, we have the ability to participate in a lot of international projects.
Here at Maltepe University, the education consists of both practical and theoretical. We get the opportunity to practice everything we learn in class in real life. So after we graduate, we have a degree and we can work all over the world.
People come to Istanbul all the time, but what they really miss when they visit are the antique shops, which contain thousands of years of memories and also a thread of the modern future.
I like to use every minute and just get out and hop on the ferry and just go from the Asian side to the European side and just enjoy the wonderful weather with the wonderful Bosphorus behind me and just enjoying the moment of Istanbul.
Istanbul is very beautiful with great culture.
This city is the symbol of diversity. Come and study at Maltepe University.
Come here and feel like you're home.
Hello to everyone again. Break is over and we are starting our first presenters, Mustafa Kaji, Sonia Radiev. They will talk about an adaptive method to solve multi-level, multi-objective linear programming problems. Now let's hear it from them.
Hello everyone. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Our screen.
Okay, I can start.
Yes, we will see.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm pleased to take part of this nice congress. So I present myself. I am Qasim Mustafa from University of Science and Technology of Oran, Mohammed Boudiaf from Algeria. And my talk will be about an adaptive method to solve multi-level, multi-objective linear programming problem. So during this presentation, I will begin by recall some preliminary on multi-objective programming, as well as the non-dominated solution for multi-objective programming and adaptive method algorithm. Next, I will formulate the multi-level linear programming problem, and then I will define the set of all possible compromise solution for multi-level problem. Then generalize the adaptive method for the multi-level case. Then I conclude the presentation. So the adaptive method is numerical constructive method described by Gabasov in late of 1980, and it was generalized to develop methods in quadratic programming and optimal control and multi-objective linear programming with bounded variable. So the goal of this presentation is to present a generalization into the multi-level case. The generalization of the adaptive method into the multi-level case. Now let's fix some notation. Let's P F index P linear application from Rn to Rk index P, defined as Cp times X, where Cp is a matrix of size n of size Kp times n, where P and K and XP and K are all integers, and X, the decision variable vector, is decomposed into X bar 1, X bar 2, until X bar capital P, where X bar are, if we say, a block of component of X. Decision variable vector is decomposed into P block of component. Now, let's consider a multi-objective programming problem, where Cp is linear form and B is matrix, and the decision variable vector is bounded between L, the vector L, and U, where B is the augmented matrix by adding the slack variable into the matrix A. And let S be the feasible region, the elements of Rn that verify the constraints of this problem, and Z be the set of all the criteria of the problem. Now we say that feasible solution X1 dominate X2 if f of X1 is bigger or equal to f of X2. So f of X1 and f of X2 are vectors. This inequality can be understood as an inequality component by component. And we say that X is a non-dominated solution if it is non-dominated by any other solution. Now, we denote by NP the set of all the feasible solution of the problem, the multi-objective problem, and by NDX the set of all the extreme point of the problem. The extreme point means that the corner of the feasible region S, the corner of the polyhedron S, and the X will denote an arbitrary element of NDEX. Now, the adaptive method of multi-objective programming problem with bounded variable is given as follows. We start by get the initial feasible solution, and we solve this linear mono-objective problem. This function is a linear function, and this problem is the dual of the multi-objective problem 1. Is the dual of the multi-objective problem 1. Then we get the vector lambda. We construct the vector lambda as the sum of R0 plus S, where R0 is second component of the solution of this problem, and finally we solve the multi-objective scalarized problem using the adaptive method of a linear mono-objective problem. So the most important thing to know here is that all the non-dominated solution of multi-objective problem are located in the bound of S. In other words, are facets of S. So what we gonna do now, we will define a facet of S. So we extend the matrix A. We define the matrix A tilde by adding the non-negativity constraint to A, to the matrix A, and B tilde will be the vector B, and we add the N0, where ED here is the identity matrix. We define the new index set of the matrix A tilde, and we call a facet f of Q, we define the facet of S as the element of S that verify this system A tilde index Q times X equal to B tilde, where A tilde index Q is the matrix derived from the matrix A tilde, by deleting all the lines that are not indexed in Q. Similarly, we get the vector B tilde index Q. Now, non-dominated facet of the problem is the intersection of the non-dominated solution set NP with the facet, which means that the non-dominated facet of the problem are all the points or the non-dominated point that belongs to f of Q. And the non-dominated solution set can be decomposed into non-dominated facet, which is the union of all the non-dominated facets of the problem. Now, there is a criterion of non-dominance of point. To test point x0, the non-dominance of the point x0, it suffices to solve this linear programming problem over the feasible region S tilde and XP. The x0 is non-dominated if and only if the WP equal to 0 for all P, and it is dominated if and only if WP is bigger to 0. It's natural because here if WP equal to 0, that means all the V and XPE are all equal to 0. Then here VP is 0, the 0 vector, and we see that x0 is dominated by x. It's appear in this inequation. Then the criteria for non-dominance of facet, we say that the facet f of Q is dominated. So if and only so we suppose that there is a point in the interior of the facet, and this point is non-dominated. Then if there exists at least one point that verify these two conditions, then the closure of the facet is non-dominated. The anterior here and the closure is in sense of topology induced is in the topology induced by the smallest affine subspace that contains the facet Q. Now we are ready to formulate the multi-level problem. Multi-level problem, conversely to multi-objective problems and mono-objective linear problem, we have many decision makers that interact in the decision process. Here in the first level, the first decision maker has this multi-objective problem to solve, but it is not really a multi-objective problem because it wants to solve. It must solve it over x bar 1 over n and xp variable, but not over all the variables. So it solves this problem and it gets a solution. It will give he give this solution to the second decision maker. The second decision maker must solve his problem by taking into account the solution of the first level. In other words, the first decision maker will impose some new constraint to the second decision maker, and the second decision maker will define a new feasible region in which he will solve the problem, and we continue, and the second decision maker will get a solution that he will give to the third decision maker, etc. And we continue like this until the last level. This resolution is subject to the feasible region S. Now, what we define now, we can define the set of all possible compromise for the problem, for the multi-level linear programming problem. by in some sense we will ignore the hierarchy that characterize this multi-level problem. So we will not take into account the hierarchy that exists in the multi-level problem, and define the set of solution as the intersection of all the solution set of all the multi-objective problem that constitute the multi-level problem. In other words, we will manipulate these problems as a real multi-objective problems. Similarly, we define the set of extreme points of multi-level problem as the intersection of all the sets of extreme points of all the multi-objective problems. Now we define non-dominance criterion for a point. We say that the point P dx is an optimal compromise of the problem if it is non-dominated point for all the level. This is the meaning that R equal to 0, where R is W1 plus W2, where W1, W2, and WP is defined here. That means we solve all these problems for P equal to 1, P equal to 2, until P equal to capital P, and we calculate the sum. If R equal to 0, then we say that P dx is non-dominated solution, non-dominated solution for the multi-level problem. Now we will describe an algorithm to get all the facets. So we put G from 1 to D wedge, where D wedge is the cardinal of the N wedge dx, and define the set G and XG as all the facets that has exactly G extreme point. G extreme point that belongs to N wedge dx. Now we give a non-dominance criterion for a facet, non-dominance criterion. Let G bigger to 2, and Fg is a facet that belongs to the set G. So you suppose that the point P dx belongs to the facet f of Q, then if the point P dx belongs to the interior of N wedge, if and only if the facet is dominated. So to know if the facet is dominated or no, what we have to do, we have to take any point in the interior of N wedge. Yeah, an interior point. If an interior point in the set N wedge, if this point is non-dominated point, then the facet f of Q belongs to N wedge. Of course, the point must be in the facet f of Q. Now, to generate all the set N wedge, the set of all the solution of multi-level problem, we have to. So we take G from D wedge to 2. D wedge G equal to G wedge, and D wedge minus 1, and in next iteration D wedge minus 3, etc. We illustrate the set G and XG and use the previous criterion, this criterion, to test all the element of G and XG. So to test all the facets that have exactly G extreme point in the that have exactly G extreme point that belongs to N wedge. And we put G N wedge, the set of all the solution of multi-level problem, as the union of all the facets that are non-dominated. Now, we said that our objective is to generalize the adaptive method. So we to generalize to achieve this goal, n wedge must be a convex set. If it is not the case, the simple idea is to take a convex component of n wedge. We take convex subset of n wedge, and we apply the adaptive method and we can start generalize the adaptive method over this convex component. So for this reason, to continue this presentation, I just assume that n wedge is convex set. Now the adaptive method for multi-level problem. So the first step, I define the bound of all the decision variable. The EG lower bound of decision variable is the minimum from or the EG component of all elements of n wedge of NDX. The lower bound is the minimum component from all the non-dominated extreme points of the multi-level problem, and the overbound is defined similarly with the maximum operator. Then I put the lower bound of the slack variable equal to 0 and the upper bound equal to m, where m is larger positive number chosen previously. Now we put p equal to 1, which means that we will solve the first problem. We are in the first level. We solve this linear problem, the first multi-objective problem over the set SP. SP is the new feasible region. Is the new the convex component that the decision makers are chosen in previously. Then we solve this problem. We get the compromise solution of the first level, the solution that satisfies only in this step. This solution satisfies only the first decision maker. Then the first decision maker will choose 2 times n1 positive parameter, and such that of course the G component minus L must be equal to L, minus E must be equal to N, and the G component plus R must equal to U. Then we put P equal to P plus 1, and if P is bigger to, we continue until P capital P. So if P is bigger to capital P, we stop we are in the last level. We stop with the satisfactory compromise XA and XP. Satisfactory compromise, or the compromise that the solution that satisfies all the decision maker. Otherwise, we will go back to the step 3. So, in conclusion, in this presentation, what we made, we defined the new concepts, that is, non-dominated feasible solution of multi-level, multi-objective programming problem by the intersection of all the non-dominated solution sets of all the multi-objective problem that constitute the problem. And we give criterion of non-dominance, new criterion of non-dominance of feasible solution and facets. And we described an algorithm to generate the compromise solution using to generate the unique compromise solution using the adaptive method of multi-objective programming problem. There are some reference that I used to prepare this presentation. Gabasov feedback, optimal feedback, and the article of you and Zilini that published in 1978. And finally, I thank you for your attention.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to say thank you for presentation and participation.
Yeah, thank you too.
And now we are continuing the Congress with our next presenter, Tamer Köşe. They will talk about cryptocurrency tracking and staking application. Now let's hear it from them.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Today I will present you my capstone projects, which is crypto tracking and staking. Definition of problem: due to the increase in crypto market, crypto money prices recently, the crypto money ecosystem has gained great popularity both in our country and in the world. Many people who are far from technology have turned their attention to this sector and have invested in this sector to make money. But due to the abundance of coins, these people cannot keep up with the market and the amount of coins they hold. Apart from that, people buy coins and wait for the price to rise in line with their strategies. During this time, the coins are just sitting on the stock market or in their crypto wallets. This expected time should also be evaluated in some way, and people should make a profit. This project aims to bring solutions to all these and make people's lives easier. Purpose of the project: the main goal of this project is to create a mobile application using blockchain technology with a functional, easy to use, simple and effective design that will help people easily track the coins, which they mostly hold on different exchanges from one place. In this application, you can follow the prices of coins and learn your instant balance instantly from one place. And if you keep the coin of our project in your crypto wallet, you can increase the amount of these coins you have by looking for a certain period of time in the staking part of our application. Use technologies: eat the block staking and as a form eat the stake libraries that makes staking deposit, withdraw and claim functions. Solidity allows writing smart contracts. EtherJS, it interacts with the Ethereum blockchain and its ecosystem. Truffle is a test development framework for Ethereum. React Native, framework that is for developing mobile interfaces. SQLite, local device database for storing users' password. MetaMask, similar project that is helpful for decentralized application. Visual Studio Code, Expo CLI. And there is some missing part. What can be done? Staking. For this system, smart contract was coded in Solidity language and deployed to the blockchain network. Functions are prepared. However, errors were encountered when trying to integrate the stake and unstake system into React Native. Therefore, unfortunately, this system could not be run even though the codes in the background were ready. Recommendations: to support multiple changes like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, etc. because we are now using Avalanche blockchain system. Secondly, to fetch analytics of app usage, to transfer coins via crypto wallet, to send, buy, or sell orders to crypto exchanges. Let me open my simulator. And this is welcome screen. We have two buttons here. import wallet, which you can import an existing wallet or create a new one. Let me show import wallet. You can enter the 12 phrases secret key, which is your private key. Here, let me before that create a new wallet. You can create a password for entering app. This is for security. This is just format. When you can click here, nothing happens. Just format. Those words are 12 phrases which are private keys. You can access our crypto wallet via these phrases, so that we should store those words in a secure way. Copy. You have to verify those phrases. Let's continue. And congratulations. And home screen, you can now the coins coin list by listed their ranks and market cap. There is no limit here. The number of the coins. When you click one of them, whatever you want, which one. Here, the details screen, you can see the graph of the coins selected. You can slice this graph, the line chart, and we can change the time range. Let's say 7 days and 30 days, 1 year, and all. And we can change the theme of the chart. We can calculate here easily the amount whichever we want, and this here we can see the current price, and here the percentage is for the changes on 24 hours. And here the star button, we can add selected coin to watch list. Let's select and see here watch list. Add another one. Let's say XRP. Add XRP. And here we can track coins whatever we want. Just add those to watch list. And here we can add and delete the coins. Add new one. Let me say Ethereum. Ethereum. Let's say 8. And here, let me just another one. Add. Sorry. We can see each coin has the amount and you can calculate per coin. Let's say 15 BTC we have, and those coin has how much the money we have, and on the top of the screen we see the current balances, and here this percentage again for the changes in 24 hours in our portfolio, and here is the amount of the dollar we increase or we gain or lose, and we can delete whatever we want. And this section for the news, you can see current crypto news here, and here's settings. We can see here our public crypto addresses, and now here balances is equal to the public crypto wallets, whether it has AVAX or not, or how much AVAX. Just because we created this wallet new, we don't see any amount of this, but we can, if you want, if we send to AVAX to these addresses, you can see here the amount of the total AVAX, and we can also here generate a QR code to reach the public crypto wallet, and we also here copy, and now we can change. Sometimes Expo does this. It stocks, I think. This kind of error doesn't happen on real devices. Sometimes simulators can do that. I don't know why. How much time do I have?
Well, if you want, we can have a break, and maybe if you've sorted out your problem, then we can continue at the end of the session.
I'm now at work. I have limited time.
Okay, then maybe we can finish it in here.
I
Many
guess
thanks for the presentation.
it opened. I think.
Because we are
Yeah,
already over your time, and that's what
okay.
also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Thanks a
have
lot for your
limited time
presentation.
for. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we will take break until 2 p.m. See you later. Okay. Hello to everyone again. Break is over and we are starting our presenter Nur UI Sabah. Break is over and we are starting our presenter Nur UI. Are you here, Nur? We can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Should I have to share my presentation?
We can see your screen.
One minute. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So today I'm going to present on the topic of computer-aided analysis of phytochemicals as a potential inhibitor against NS5 protein of HCV based on molecular docking. Starting from the hepatitis definition, like what is hepatitis and all that. Hepatitis is a liver infection, and there are several kinds of the hepatitis that are being present nowadays, and which are like A, B, C, D, and E. In this paper, I have focused on the hepatitis C virus, which is normally caused by a blood-borne virus, and it is an RNA virus that can ultimately lead to both chronic hepatitis and hepatocellular carcinoma. As you can see here in this picture, there are different stages of the liver cancer. It takes up to 1 to 4 decades to reach to the stage of hepatocellular carcinoma. Normally, in all the patients that have hepatitis C virus infection, around 85% of them they develop liver cancer. There is a family classification of the hepatitis C virus. It belongs to the family Flaviviridae and the genus Hepatitis virus. There are at least 6 genotypes and several subtypes of the hepatitis C virus that are present. And there is almost around a difference of 30 to 35% of nucleotide sequences in the whole genome. As you can see here in this picture, 3A is the most prevalent genotype, which is being followed by the genotype 1, then 1B, 3B, and etc. The genotype 1 is the most prevalent, which comprises around 83.4 million of the cases. Genotype 3 is the next most prevalent genotype that is present in most of the cases, and it comprises around 54.3 million of the cases, followed by 2, 4, 6, and 5 genotypes. Here is the structure of the hepatitis C virus. There are 4 structural and 6 non-structural proteins that are present in hepatitis C virus. In my paper, I have actually focused on the NS5P, which is a non-structural protein. And why I have chosen this, there are different reasons. Actually, the replication of hepatitis C virus by this non-structural protein, which is an RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, it is error-prone, due to which it causes many different mutations at an estimated rate of around 5 to 10 mutations per nucleotide during the replication. So whenever there is a disease or infection caused by this particular non-structural protein, there are many chances of the mutations. So when it comes to the NS5B, it is actually a tail-anchored protein that performs as an RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So in this study, I have chosen NS5B because of all these reasons, as it acts as a major target for the antiviral Criterion. As you can see here in this picture, this is the structure that I have obtained by using a software which is we normally use for the homology modeling. When it comes to the vaccine for the HCV, there are actually two different kinds of the vaccines that are available. First one is through the development of the antibodies, and the second one is through therapeutic vaccines. Actually, when it comes to the HCV, there is no authentic vaccine available in the market, so there is a combination of therapies that are being used for the treatment of the HCV. First one was the use of the interferon plus ribavirin. Second one was the sofosbuvir in addition to interferon. Sometimes we use interferon with that with the combination, and sometimes we just use the sofosbuvir for the treatment. The last one, which was approved by the FDA, was Harmony, which was a combination of the sofosbuvir and ledipasvir. But there is a problem with with all these therapies. First one is there are a number of the side effects that are being caused by these vaccines. Second one, because of the different economical reasons, we can't use it on global level. So instead of using all these combination therapies, I have used phytochemicals which are naturally available plants. Normally, when it comes to the treatment or the medication of a particular, genotype of HCV, it is actually based on the genotype, the pre-existing liver damage, and the prior treatments. When it comes to the therapy, which is normally used for the treatment, it is actually a combination of the interferon alpha injections and the ribavirin, and it is used for around 24 to 48 weeks. Depending on the genotype which is present in that particular patient. In my case, when I have used the phytochemicals, there were a lot of the different reasons, as I've discussed before. There are actually, when it comes to the usage of the already available treatments, there are a lot of the reasons that that has some drawbacks with the usage of these treatments. First one is, there is a limited efficacy. Like, for example, we are using some particular combination for a genotype. We have to use different combinations for the different genotypes of the hepatitis which is present in that patient. So it will not be effective for all the genotypes. Second, it has severe side effects, and it costs a lot. There can be side effects such as, fatigue, flu, skin rashes, mild anxiety, depression, and diarrhea, etc. Second, as there are different economic conditions that are being applied to the region where this disease is present, it is normally unavailable to the people who are living in the low-income countries. So that was a major problem when it comes to the treatment of hepatitis C virus. So from clinical and economical point of view, there was a need to develop an alternative and compatible regimen for HCV treatment, and that was the reason I have used phytochemicals. So there were five different plants through which I have obtained around 103 phytochemicals that were used in this study. When it comes to the material and methodology that was being used in this particular study, firstly, we have collected phytochemicals, then we have screened them through different processes. In the collection of the phytochemicals, we have taken 5 different plants. And from these 5 different plants, total 103 phytochemicals were obtained. And in the screening process, we have followed the Lipinski violation rule. In the Lipinski violation rule, the value should be 0. How? For example, firstly, we check the solubility of that particular material that we are using. The solubility should be high. The absorption should be high to moderate. The blood-brain barrier should be, permeable, so that there should be no blood-brain barrier permeability. The second one is that there should be no side effects. That means the toxicity should be 0 to nil. So after all this screening, the total 103 phytochemicals have been obtained. After this, as I have discussed before, like there are almost six, different genotypes that have been present, but I have used around 4, which is 1A, 1B, 2A, and 3A, because these are the most prevalent ones. For this, for the 1A, 2A, and 1B genotype, I have obtained the structure through the PubMed. But when it comes to the 3A, there was no structure available on the PubMed. So I have obtained the homology sequences by using the NCBI BLAST. And after this, I used the Modeler 9.18 software to model that 3D structure of 3A genotype of HCV. As you can see here in this picture, these are the the colorful one. These are the structures that I have obtained through the PubMed. But the one which is in black and white, I have prepared it myself by using the Modeler software. The third step in the methodology of that study, it was the molecular docking process, in which we dock the protein with a particular ligand, and we have checked the binding energy of these particular complexes. So Autodoc Vina, PMV 1.5.6 and Autodoc tools were used for this study. Autodoc tools were used to model the HCV NS5P structure. How I prepared that particular structure, that I have, added the polar hydrogen bonds to increase the interaction between the phytochemicals and that HCV structure. So in all the study, what happened that there was one standard that I have used, and which was sofosbuvir. Why I have used sofosbuvir? Because nowadays sofosbuvir is mainly used for the treatment of the HCV. So I have used it as a standard. And when it comes to the values, I have used a threshold value of the sofosbuvir, which is 8.1. And when I compared this value with the values that I have obtained in the docking studies, there were around 23 phytochemicals whose values were higher than sofosbuvir. As you can see here, there were almost like 10 to 11 phytochemicals from the Silybum marinium plant that has shown the highest binding affinity and the Ki value as compared to the sofosbuvir. Then some from the Moringa peregrina, and some from the Tamarix nilotica. These are the structures in the docking process where there is interaction between the protein and the ligand, as you can see here. And this one here is the structure of the sofosbuvir. So these were the results that I have obtained. Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, we can hear you.
So this was the end of the presentation.
I can hear now. I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
hear.
So this was the end of my presentation.
Okay. Thank you for participation and for giving us valuable information.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we are continuing the Congress with our next presenter, MUISC'22. Now I leave the word from them.
will be trying my PowerPoint to share screen.
We can't hear you clearly.
Can you see my PowerPoint?
No. I think your microphone is problem now.
Sorry.
We can hear you, but your voice is not so clear. Maybe if you start your presentation, if this continues, we might warn you, but you can start your presentation. You can share your screen. Can you hear me, Risky?
Yeah, I can. Sorry, can you see my share screen?
We can hear you, but we are not seeing your screen.
Okay. I will try.
Okay.
What's about now? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, now it's on screen.
Okay, I will start. Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Rizky Putra. I am a student from Universitas Gadjah Mada in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Today I will presentation about my research with the title of synthesize characterization and activity test of iron oxide immobilized in silica from bambolite for methylene blue photoxidation. Okay, for the first, we move to the introduction. Speaking about the economic growth, of course, there are several factors that influence economic growth, and one of which is industry. Industry is not only an indicator of economic growth, but the industry is also a pillar of the country's economy, like such as Indonesia, my country. And the presence of industry will certainly increase state revenue. And one of the fastest growing industry in Indonesia is textile industry. And so this is the data from my country. That's 8.97% of state income of Indonesia. They contribute from textile industry. So the number of industry increase year to year, but we have a problem that not balanced with the waste management preparedness. So we can see the color textile wastewater in the river in Indonesia. And we know that we have many several conventional methods for wastewater treatment, like physically, chemically, and biologically. In the physically, we know that the conventional method, such as like filtering, absorbent deposition, in the chemically like chlorination, ozonization, and biologically by microorganism, activity sludge, and treatment agents. But this method has a weakness. It's like the expensive fee, amount of loss, long time, not environmentally friendly, and the last is have a side effect. So what the solution for that problem? We can use photocatalyst method. This method is like photosynthesis in the tree when the chlorophyll can absorb the light. And in my research, I use iron oxide catalyst as a catalyst for photodegradation of color wastewater. And but the iron oxide catalyst have a weakness that this catalyst give a turbidity due to the solution of oxide in solution. So in this research, I use silica in this research because we want to immobilize the iron oxide in the surface of silica. And why I use bamboo leaf? Because in the recent research with the title of a new polygenic material for cement industry in the Journal of Physics Science, we can see that silica dioxide in the bamboo leaf have a more than 75%. So it's very high potential for silica, and this is the formulation of the problem in this research. How to prepare the immobilized iron oxide photocatalyst in silica dioxide from bamboo leaf for photodegradation. And the second is how is the characteristic of this photocatalyst after immobilized in silica dioxide from bamboo leaf, and can the immobilized iron oxide photocatalyst in silica dioxide to reduce CO2 level in color detecting water. And we move to the research method. This is the first, is silica dioxide preparation from bleached bamboo leaf. In here we have bamboo leaf, and after that we must condense to form bamboo leaf ash. And after form the bamboo leaf ash, we can calcination for 2 hours in the 600 degrees Celsius oven calcinator. And after that, we must reflux for 4 hours by adding a strong base. In here, I use sodium hydroxide 4 molar. And after that, we must to filter using Wattman and adding by chloric acid to pH of 8. And after that, in the final, we will get a silica gel. And the second of the method is immobilization of iron oxide in silica dioxide. We use 1:10 between iron oxide and silica dioxide. In here, we must reflux for 3 hours by adding 10 milliliter of methanol, and after that we must filter to form white powder. And in here, the white powder must to wash by the water, and after that open for 1 hour in 100 degrees Celsius. And the final of this the method is we can get iron oxide silica dioxide powder. And in this research, I use EDX, XRD, and UV test to characterization this powder. And the last is the polycatalyst activity test. In here, I use system. In here, we use 500 milliliter of color wastewater textile. And after that, we adding photocatalyst from iron oxide silica dioxide. And in the final of photocatalyst activity, we hope that the water is very clean and the catalyst can reuse in the more one process for the photocatalyst test. And this is the result of the research. This is the same characterization. Yes, the image shows the acid formation, like the morphology of iron oxide in the surface of the silica dioxide. This morphology consists of small circle of iron oxide nanoparticle on the surface of silica dioxide. And after that is the ADX characterization. The ADX analysis was conducted to evaluate the presence of the element in the catalyst. So from that the EDX characterization, we see that the difference of the catalyst and the just bamboo leaf ash in here, because in the catalyst we see that we confirmation that the element of iron in here with the percent mass of 1.59 has presence in the surface of the catalyst. And after that, this is the XRD characteristics confirm the presence of iron oxide in the surface of silica dioxide. Based of the result, the diffraction peak appears the four value of 2 theta. Yeah, is the 2 theta. This is the 31.7, 45.43, 56.45, and 75.26, and it's indexed by GCPDS card number 190629 with the diameter 1.26 until 2.82 Armstrong. And the last is the photocatalyst mechanism. This is the surface area of the iron oxide silica dioxide bamboo leaf. When the surface area of the iron oxide absorbs the light, the electron in the valence band will be excited to conduct band, and the hole in the valence band will be produce radical mechanism when the water will be produced to the HO radical, and the HO radical will be again the organic pollutant in the colored textile wastewater, and making to the intermediate compound. And after intermediate compound, the final of the product of this system is the CO2 and water. So it's very safe for the environment. So this is the photocatalyst activity test. In here, I use time from 0 until 180 minutes or 3 hours. And we can see that the absorbance of the color textile wastewater is still decreased from the 0 minutes to the 180 minutes, with the absorbance from 4 to the 0.872. And the COD number dropped from 1,142 ppm to 256 ppm. So from the research, we can conclude that the first is silica dioxide particle can be synthesized from bamboo leaf using the reflux method, and the second is the characteristic of this catalyst is having a pore size about 1 micrometer, and one is silica acid and amorphous. And the last is the photocatalyst of the iron oxide silica dioxide can degrade the dye stuff. That it's indicated by decreasing absorbent value from the beginning to the end for 180 minutes. And from GCOD level, the COD level of waste can decrease from 1,142 ppm to 256 ppm. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for opportunity. Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to say thank you for participation and for giving us valuable information. Thank you. And now we are continuing the Congress with our next presenter, Mr. Abideshmi and Hiroi Karimi. And now I leave the word from them.
Thank you for this opportunity. Do you have my voice?
Yes. we can.
Thank you for this opportunity and thank you for attending this lecture. I would like to start this meeting with the poem of Iranian philosopher Omar Hakim Khayyam. This universe may be existence or maybe not existence, but definitely it's under effect of complexity of virtual. This lecture is about the virtual reality and use of virtual reality in education of medical education. As you know, in the process of medical education, resident and surgeon student in the training of a medical use the real individual. This aim of this study is about how to use virtual reality and how to use a virtual body in the medical education. It may be so complicated. I think we today in the broadcast we listen about metaverse. But what's metaverse? Metaverse is a word introduced.
Sorry.
Hello?
We can screen your screen. Can you share?
Yes. Do you have my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Internet in Iran is so unstable. I'm sorry. I thought I share this screen. I start again. About metaverse and the role of metaverse to promotion of healthcare education or medicine education. As you know, metaverse is a new technology, and use of metaverse is so famous in the today. But the idea of a metaverse is come from the science fiction novel in the 1980s and opened the world multiplayer platform in the gaming. But and about the Second Life and but Mark Zuckerberg, the manager of Facebook, introduced the name of Meta in October, and Metaverse is introduced again for investment and for its opportunity for all of us. And Patrick Schumacher, one of the manager of the Hadid architects in firm, introduced this role for the architects and for designers. And now, as a healthcare architect, I want to metaverse for the healthcare architects and use of this for health education. I want to share this video for you. I think it's not shared this video, but the use of virtual reality is not a new thing. I want this study the use the metaverse in the healthcare education and implementing the metaverse for medical education. For a long time, a period of time, medical educators, instrument students, and residents in scale lab throughout history, taking a physical examiner and clinical investigator and diagnostic procedure accuracy, effective communication and teamwork, and professionalism. Use of library and internet, the technique of inquiry was a examination of augmented reality technology necessary for implementing in building information modeling. This project efforted a strategy for establishing a health space in metaverse for medical education that utilizing augmented reality to model of facility. This method of medical teaching is used in this space because the operation room setting is replicated. Medical student can make the best use of medical equipment and patient by using a virtual hospital, surgical gadgets, and virtual bodies. Additional, this study indicate that this technology may be capable of minimizes the rate of medical errors. Thank you. My presentation is over.
Okay, thank you so much for presentation and participation.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, 1 minute. Please. Yes, we can you.
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Today I will tell my project. My project is online ocean system. I prepared a website for this system, and this online ocean system about the people can sell their products like secondhand or a new product, the other ones, and this system, all people use this website for this selling, and in this ocean system is the British ocean system. In this system, the oceaner opens the ocean and by announcing suggest the opening bid, and there is a starting price for ocean, and when someone bid to this product and there aren't any secret people, everything about the people is sharing, like name, surname, anything, and the aim of my project doing this, and which technologies I use in my website. I used React.js and Spring Framework, and for the database system I use my MySQL for relation datasheet, and the reason I use React is to manage my components easily and for readable and usable components. And another reason is the React.js support us a single page application feature, and we can really speedily use website. And the other technology is Spring Framework, which is a Java framework, is because of there are many features of framework. For example, Spring Security, Data GPA, MVC, Spring Boot. And I made a role-based project with Spring Security. There are 8-minute users in my project, and I wrote controllers with Spring MVC, and my website connection to the React with using a Spring REST controller system. I will show you my website. In my website is my homepage actually, and there's a little bit products, a few auction, and these are open auction. Haven't completed yet, and there's a time. These times the users create these times, and user create their starting price, and the explanation and title. And then I have a creating products page, and in this page user creating their own version, like can upload a image and then write the title, explanation, and starting price. There's a sell now price for selling immediately, and there's an ending time. And then if the user make a bid to the auction, the other user, when they pass their price, it will get an email about their bid, and that email tell your bid passed to the other user. If you are won the auction, you get an email, and there's a link of auction, and there's an info about the auction, which auction have you won, and the details of the auction. There is a title, there is the seller's name that someone who made, and there's the highest bid. This bid from Johnville, and this user made the highest bid end of the auction, end of the time. And when the this auction over, and there is a winner of user, there's name of user who is winner, and the auction ends, and the user gave the mail like that, and the auction ends. All of my websites was that. I tell speedily, tell about my website shortly. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you for participation and presentation. Okay, we are continuing the Congress with our last presenter, Çağla Özgür. Özgül. They will talk about reading tracking app Talia. Now let's hear it from them.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yes we can.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. I'm going to talk about my graduation project, which named Thalia, a library app. Thalia means flourishing in Greek, and she was the daughter of Zeus and one of the muses of the comedy. My abstract of the project, with the latest global pandemic and development of the technology, the average time a person spends looking on a screen increased. Although many apps and software that limit screen time exist, it is demonstrated by many sources and scientific data that negative reinforcement is not as efficient as positive reinforcement when breaking the habit. In the other word, reinforcing a productive habit, namely reading, can become more efficient than limiting screen time. The aim of the project is to provide a user-friendly application for those who are in need of keeping track of their readings in addition to reinforcing reading behavior. The purpose of the project, as a struggling casual reader, keeping track of my readings often motivates me. Due to the significance of this kind of positive reinforcement, I believe many would benefit from this reading tracking application. I thus started this project as a computer engineering undergraduate with hopes of helping individuals who need to be motivated for their reading behavior. The future possibility of this app being exerted as an educational tool to reinforce reading behavior in children and teenagers, especially in people who has ADHD, is the ultimate and the most ambitious goal of this project for me. My aim was to create an app where users can keep track of their readings through logging. Additional to amplify the reading and login experience, users can express their opinions on books by rating and commenting. To promote reading behavior, badges are given to users based on the genre, writer, or era of the books, as well as the number of books users have read and logged throughout the year. As you see, this is will be the search screen of my app, Thalia. It's kind of the minimalist version of the Goodreads, more user-friendly one. You can see that users will be able to search for any keyword, will be able to rate, comment, and review. Will be able to plug other users, will be able to edit or delete their ratings or reviews, and will be able to make lists. And of course, they need to register first to log in. I'm going to create this app with React, not JavaScript, and Mongo database. This is all it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
I would like to say thank you for participation and presentation.
Thank you.
And now I want to give you the closing speech. Our Congress has ended. In our faculties, we have worked on this Congress with a great team consisting of our instructors and friends. As students of Maltepe University, I express my special appreciation to the organizing committee, which has worked hard to ensure that we have such a great experience. Our Engineering and Architecture Congress has ended this year. Thank you to everyone for joining us for their interest in our Congress. See you next year again. Care of yourselves.